Hello? Hello?
Challenging, like, state.
I made it.
Wait, what the hell are you wearing on your chest?
Don't worry, I came prepared.
That's better. Thank you.
Angel of what an internal.
Mr. K is here.
100%.
Why is no one else have their shirt off?
Oh, sorry, wrong meeting. That's later.
It's not 10 o'clock yet.
Fuck.
You look good though. You know,
Thank
I
you,
don't know why
thank
you're
you.
coming here without a shirt on, but you know, I just wanted to.
Hey, Abilene.
Hey, Mr. K. Looking good.
Thank you, thank you.
So, how you doing, Mr. K?
Doing pretty good. Went to that dog shit meeting up north, man. What a disgrace, man. What a disgrace.
Not all of us were there, and I think me and Tilly came halfway through. What was, what do we miss?
So basically, she started off saying, hey, I got some stuff I want to present to you guys and see how you're feeling. You know, do a little temperature check. The only really thing she laid out was felons can't own businesses up in Polito. I pushed back on that. I was like, why not? I mean, the whole point of prison is rehabilitation. They get sent there, they do their time for their crime, they get rehabilitated so they can go back into society and provide value. Basically,
What was
she
the
said,
response?
I don't care. That's not my problem. They can go pay for an expungement. I said, well, expungements are expensive. Not everyone can afford that. As well as, you know, maybe businesses can help these people get back on their feet, provide stuff to the community, and earn money and save up for an expungement. She said, not my problem. I don't care.
Abby, I thought, is it even in legislation that you can't own a business unless you're not a felon?
In the Constitution?
No, but that's what she's putting down as far as what she plans to do, and so it's almost as good as written as far as Blaine County is concerned.
Is that what she was implying, Kay, that she's passing legislation
Yeah.
to prevent you?
Yeah.
Oh.
This is stuff she wants done. Which to me is a red flag. I mean, that's what we had in the city for, what, 7 months now, and it's been absolute dog shit.
Yeah,
You're doing the stuff that caused issues to begin with. She's very alarming, you know. Very alarming.
In the regular business protocol, it doesn't say anything about it. It would be up to us to write the new approval and denial process however we want. So it doesn't say anything right now on who can and can't own a business.
Yeah. The way I would say it right now, this may not sound well, but the best way to go about it is Los Santos, as Mr. Chavez has said, doesn't plan to restrict all businesses from felons. And to get your business popping off over here and let us get some of that tax money and see what she's missing out on, and you know, give her a change of heart down the road.
Yeah, that'll be a good pushing point right there.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe we'll employ some tariffs too.
Employ some what?
Some tariffs. It's a joke because they were talking about like needing to bring food up there or whatever. And I'm just saying, like, we could tariff supplies that are being brought from the city up the Polito.
Okay.
But that was pretty much the only thing of value she said there. Other than that, she just talked about her fair that she has tomorrow.
So we've been having chats with like different circles and whatnot to get an understanding of what every individual, every kind of circle is looking for, so that we have some good line of sight, and also so that if there's like common desires by different circles, we know what to prioritize, right? If like 5 out of 6 circles say, hey, we're looking for this, it gives us an indicator that we got to work on that before other things.
Huh?
Just kind of off the bat, what is it that you'd like to see, you and your friends, family, etc.?
For the city, I would like to see more opportunity. The more opportunity people have, the better things we'll see. That could be, I mean, it's a broad spectrum, right? It could be businesses, it could be whatever, just more opportunity, more ability for people to create. And I think we'll see beautiful things.
Mm-hmm.
Eve, could you kind of give an overview of what the Chamber of Commerce is and what we're going to be bringing?
Yeah, so I am opening the Chamber of Commerce, which will basically focus on creating that opportunity, Mr. K, and it will focus on not just us running the Chamber of Commerce, but it will include a bunch of people, a bunch of spectrum of people who want to start businesses, people who have never started a business. It'll focus on workshops. It'll do all of that to help people give a guiding hand. And it'll also create departments underneath the Chamber of Commerce for licensing, for creative opportunities for all of that. And this will all happen under the Chamber of Commerce, because at the moment there just is none of that. And because if I ask you right now, if you got a business today, what are you going to do with it, and what benefits do you have?
Mm-hmm.
It's there is none. So we're just carry on, Nina.
Like, to give you an idea, a lot of these commercial properties, industrial buildings, etc., they got so the previous administration didn't do jack shit. There's I mean, beyond what you may realize, every single one of these buildings and their zoning categories, the state has had the ability to subsidize. However, because there was no legislation that was passed, it meant that any bozo that bought whatever the fuck they wanted could pick it up and literally live inside of it, which, by the way, is happening. There's business properties that people own that and they're using it to live in. Not as a hotel, not as a motel, but as an alternative.
So you're, let me actually, because I own the, you're talking about the ones that are labeled commercial. So like, for example, by the VU, and I know exactly what you mean. There was a property near the VU that, kind of looks like a mechanic shop. And we were trying to buy it off this group of people that were essentially just living in it to run a mechanic shop out of there. Now they had a little cafe, but they weren't. Yeah, they weren't running a cafe, and then upstairs was a bunch of bunk beds. They were all just living in there.
And so that's kind of the problem, because the last administration didn't do shit. What that meant is what should have been happening was 6 months ago, there should have been legislation that said you cannot buy the property until there is, pretend it wasn't max for a minute, right? That, you need a business proposal before you can legally acquire a business property. They did it ass
backwards.
Exactly.
They did it where, if you want to apply for a business, show me you have to, literally on the application, you have to post a picture of the business location, which is like,
and then what? And then what?
Exactly.
And then what? And so now we have to retroactively go back and be like, there's like 50 fucking buildings. Who the fuck's doing anything in there? Maybe a handful of folks. I mean, listen, I will take fucking gang fucking warehouses over the bullshit that's probably out there already. And what that means is like
are to be expected, because at the end of the day, right?
Sure.
Yeah, we only care about the commercial properties, right?
Yeah,
the
warehouses are tucked away.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
fine.
It's like the commercial storefronts, essentially.
So if someone comes through and says, hey, we got this great business idea. We want to make a mechanic shop. We want to actually create a food place. Where the fuck do they go? They can't go anywhere because a bunch of motherfuckers have already bought up a bunch of shit, whether it's to sit on it, whether it's whatever. So
you should be able to make your business and then do your little hustle. I mean, let's say you have a cafe you want to start, right? Real simple. But I'm not even a big fan of fucking food businesses, right? Because that's where you have the fucking food court. But let's just say it's that. Okay, they go around, they start selling their coffee, building up some money, getting money. Then they buy the property when they have enough money and build it that way. It shouldn't be, all right, buy this $1 million property and then we'll approve your business.
Exactly. So what we are doing, and now the second thing I want you to think about is there's a bunch of farms. There's a bunch of people producing buckcoin. There's a handful of people doing activities that are available to them today to conduct business. Now, realistically, it doesn't make sense for us to stop people from doing that, right? We're not going to be that government that says, stop doing the things that you've already been able to do. Instead, what we are currently working with the feds, and the idea is that when you get a business, right? Like, let's say you're a farmer, right? You come in here, you say, look, I've already been making watermelons or whatever the fuck. Here's my proof of it. Here's the people I'm selling to. if you've proven that you've done that, we then can approve your farm business, and you will get access to better farming equipment that only you are available. Only you can get access to, and it's specific to your building.
Maybe like even an agriculture tax cut on their building, stuff like that.
Yes, exactly. Furthermore, if let's say we're working on something where you got like a teddy bear business, that we'd be able to give you the ability to get those specific teddy bears and sell them out. This is kind of where we're going. Think about it as the next tier of business. And that includes...
I like this a lot too, because when you think about it, there's certain businesses that are part of the building blocks of the city, right? Like farming, or if it's like a sanitation business, you need those materials to create other things and create products in a city. Same with farming. Those people should get tax cuts because there's not even a huge there's not a
I know
huge
you're
margin
getting
on
excited
those.
there, Kay.
You know what I'm saying? There's not a huge margin on those.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, in
if
regards
they get tax
to-
cuts and promote stuff, you'll see more of that stuff, and then there'll be more out on the streets, and people can build shit.
So tax cuts would be difficult, but I'm gonna give you a better benefit, which would be, let's say you own a material business, right? You could start a recycling company. You get a building, and maybe you get a better recycler inside that building, right? That actually gives you more material per seat or whatever the fuck they're recycling. You get what I'm saying? So you're actually producing more than you would at the state business.
Okay, so that would be their tax cut, pretty much. They're making
That's
more
their
than they would.
incentive.
Yeah, that works.
Exactly. Now, what that does mean, and because here's something that you may not be familiar with. We can control a lot of things over here, right? Some of it is fucked, which is why we're not playing with sanitation sliders and all that kind of shit. It is completely... The last administration picked it up like an abacus, shook it, and put it on the ground and said it was fine. We were actually losing millions of dollars every single fucking week. And the only reason they got away with it is because it was draining out of an unlimited account. As of right now, we are negative $16 million in the hole.
What?
Yeah.
How's that even possible?
I don't... well, it's a mix of federal accounting mishaps.
Oh my God.
And
don't tell me it's the cop pay. They're paying that fucking ridiculous amount.
No, it's a mix of things. Some of it is, look, let's just call it scuff. But the other bit is there wasn't any balance, to the budget. So in other words, like all the sliders were just like maxed, and there was nothing like balancing it on the other side.
Well, if you think about it, Nino, right? They were paying $3,500 an hour.
Yeah.
Each cop is probably what, on duty 5 hours a day? Let's just say that's probably even on the low end. And you probably got what, 30 cops? They're paying out a minimum $500,000 to the PD a day. Minimum, probably way more.
Well, PD already last week we cut it down to 50.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's probably, I guarantee that's where a lot of it was from.
Yes. Well, you're not wrong. The other thing is every single state job was max paying. So the problem with that is, to give you an idea, tow trucking, if you took every single job in the city,
Ready, 3,500,
and you totaled it, that was how much tow was paying. So tow is now all the way to the bottom.
3,500. Let's say they do 6 hours.
That doesn't
a
make
day.
any sense.
Let's say
And we're
40
pushing
different
forward
cops,
the ability for people to make a tow
both time
business,
zones. It's like $1
and
million
then we're going to
almost.
subsidize it, which is why we need to be in the green. I rather go and give someone like $50,000, $100,000 like subsidized checks to a tow company that can then pay their employees, rather than a bunch of fucking grinders out there just moving local vehicles all day. So the principle of what we're aiming for is to build culture and business in Los Santos County, as opposed to people just going and
exactly.
driving
It's
around.
not like, all right, let's increase Group 6 pay by 50%. I agree. You want to create culture.
Group 6, and to tell you what we're doing with that is, I want your honest feedback on this. Group 6 Tier 3 drivers are going to get guns for free.
Yes.
In addition, they will be able to stand their ground, which means pull out their weapons, and if they are approached, they have the right to defend themselves.
Beautiful. I agree with that, and I feel like
Bank trucks with live people are coming.
that's what it should have been from the start. These guys are going out there with absolute. I mean, they'll give you their truck, Nino. Don't ask me how I know that, but they will give you their truck. They'll say, "Okay, here's my truck."
Oh, I'm very well aware, and I was losing my fucking mind because there is millions of dollars being moved to the vault. Not allowing the government to arm these guys is fucking insane.
They had the PD giving them escorts sitting there. I mean, like, you're wasting police time for a job that they're hired to protect the money. Why do the people that are protecting money need to be protected by the cops? It's because they're not protecting shit themselves.
It doesn't pass any sort of logical, sniff test. What else did we need to hit? Eve, anything else on the business front? I think we covered most of it.
Yeah, if you have any suggestions ever, Mr. K, you're welcome to give feedback on anything that you would like to see or dislike.
Okay, I'll definitely keep an eye out when I'm out there. But it seems like, I mean, we're on the same page.
There's a lot of cooking that we're gonna have to do. Opportunity, culture. Felons are gonna have businesses. You're not gonna ripping away opportunity from felons.
Doesn't do good for anybody.
It doesn't do good for anybody. It prevents creativity. It prevents culture driving, and you're pretty much saying, "Hey, we want you to remain a felon," which is ass backwards.
Exactly. And then you know what they do? They'll shit on you for being a felon.
Oh, that is. So I'm gonna give you some insight. The PD as a whole is down bad. The numbers are down. They don't have motivation. I do deal with the first thing I dealt with in this office was.
Is their numbers down though? Nino, I see them all over the fucking
the numbers
place.
are really down. But it's not just down in terms of. It depends what time of the day.
You know why I think it's down though as well?
Mm.
I think they hire the wrong motherfuckers, if I'm gonna be completely honest. I run into a lot of these new cops and I'm just like, what the fuck? The fuck is this, man? Yet you got people like Carmine Costello, even Bobby Charles, that have been dying to be cops, but they refuse. They refuse to take them.
That's changing.
When you got a bunch of fucking cops out there that are depressed and hate their fucking job, well, I mean, shit. You got the wrong job then, because there's people that would love to have that job that they're not allowing to have that job.
Well, so the good news is that has been one of the forefronts of our conversation with the police department. I have probably spent about 40 plus, maybe 60 hours interviewing cops, different ones, for the past 4 weeks. And then as we're getting closer to determining a chief of police, with the set of candidates we're interested in. One of the principled parts of that conversation is, how are you going about hiring people? To give you some insight, there was an application. Anyone can apply for it. And then, there's outside signage. But then there wasn't really any checking beyond that. And immediately it became obvious that someone that may have only ever lived in Los Santos for like 40 hours, applied to be a cop, and then went to sleep for a month until they got a response, would be an equal candidate to someone like Carmine. Now, the problem with that is that if you haven't been in Los Santos long enough, then you probably can't drive. You're probably going to be the one that's going to shit themselves and never wake up if you got screamed at for the first time. All of that is a recipe for disaster.
Exactly.
Now, does that mean opportunity gets taken off the table for some folks? 1,000%. But they are in no place to be applying to begin with.
Being a cop is a position of power, and it's you're in a position where you're gonna have to do a lot of crazy shit. This isn't like applying to work at the fucking food court. There definitely does need to be how do I say this?
You have to get used to the culture in Los Santos.
They need to be seasoned.
Absolutely. Now, I will say that of the candidates, they've been very agreeable to that, and I think they probably see it themselves. I'm not too concerned in that space, but the reality of the matter is this. it's not just numbers. There's not a lot of seasoned officers that are willing to take the mantle of chief of police, nor are there much to even select. Now comes the question: who are your top 3 candidates?
For chief of police.
And I want you to think about, not about those that are willing to fuck you in the ass, but I'm talking about willing to fuck you in the ass but not violate rights.
You know,
Because if you
before-
tell me Conan Clarkson, you know that's not going to work.
I'm realistic. You know, I don't think Barrick was necessarily bad in terms of.
Oh, he's done already.
Yeah,
that
viewing
guy.
I think
You have
he needs
no
to
idea how bad he was.
Yes.
This individual told me in this office that he's been lying to me for weeks,
Jesus.
and that when I asked him, "You're telling me you've been," he's been lying to me and telling me what I wanted to hear.
Okay,
I
that's what I
asked
was going
him,
to get to. I was going to
"Have
say
you been sucking my dick?" He said yes.
he reminds me of Slacks. Doesn't really. Not a bad guy, but doesn't really do shit.
He's in bed. He's in bed with the North.
Oh god.
Mhm.
He lives up there.
Makes sense.
Who are you guys currently thinking? Throw some names out there.
Well,
I'm not I'm not too good with names.
Oh, okay. Well, let's start with who's on your mind, and then we'll give you a series of names. And the reason for that is we're trying to keep it under the table until they're ready. And we don't want to, like, how do I put this? I don't want to encourage you giving an answer based on what we say, but we want you, like, honest. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you don't want to. I understand. You don't want to
influence your opinion.
Man, it's honestly a hard one because some of the people that I want to recommend, they've been good as of recent. What I've learned is people change when they get to that position. They do change because they're like, okay, well, I could do whatever the fuck. That's my worry.
Well, so I'll put it this way, right? No matter who we pick, right? It's not surefire. Someone can seem like the best option in the world, and they could end up completely collapsing. The responsibility that falls on me and my administration is picking who we think has the best plan and is the best probability, right? And
Like, for example,
ultimately,
though,
if they end up being shit,
yeah.
they get impeached.
Like, look what
that
happened
goes
with
for
Bones,
judges,
right?
that goes for me, that goes for everybody.
Bones was a good cop. He became sheriff, and all of a sudden, like, he just doesn't do shit. You get what I'm saying? So,
I've seen it. Yes.
I don't know, man. I really don't know. Like, I'm thinking McNulty, but
He
can also be a curveball.
Yeah, he's been a top choice. Transparently, a lot of people put his name up, but they've said exactly what you said. Is he can be very thin blue line, and he can be very aggressive and shut off hearing the other side out, which is not healthy, right, for de-escalation.
Honestly,
he also, unfortunately, is indicating that he's not interested in high command, which is a problem.
man, this is a
Even
hard
though
question.
I do think he would fit as maybe a decent
I don't really know,
ass
man.
chief, due to that opinion of his.
Last time we talked, you were bringing up a lot of, you could say, OG cops that I haven't seen in a while. For example, like Turner and Ruth.
Ruth, Turner, and Aldo came to visit me 2 days ago.
What did they say?
I needed to understand the past, what happened to them, and what their opinions were.
Let me actually.
Turner is the
let me do
only one
this.
interested.
Yo, you guys on here? Hold on. Let me
We are.
If you guys could pick one chief of police, who would it be?
Get some committee voice there.
That's tough.
It's hard, right? Because there's some good cops out there right now, but their track record's like a little bumpy, and you never know if it takes a fucking turn.
Fuck, man. See, like, I would say he's good, but he has his moments.
Who?
McNulty.
That's exactly what I said.
Who else? Opal, she's good.
Yeah, but she's not a leader. I'm gonna be honest, man. It's rough right now, Nino.
I can tell you that we have somebody that bubbles all the way to the top. And right now there is we had laid down three specific categories. Number one, do they have a plan? Number two, are they willing to take our feedback? And number three, what has been their recent track record? And the reality is there's only one individual that ends up fitting that. Now, that is not to say that we're not going to reconsider that particular person, but that's why this conversation's happening, because we've given them, we're leaving open a week to see if anything goes sideways to prevent a catastrophe.
Is that
I'm going to name some names.
Okay, throw some out there.
And we're not going to say who it is. Like I said, we're trying to give
you may
them...
say a name that I don't even remember, and I might be like, oh,
of course,
shit.
Of course. I'm gonna go through some names. They're gonna be in no particular order. You mentioned McNulty. What about Nakota?
Haven't really done much with him, but also haven't really seen much. All I know is he was on the council at some point.
Nakota actually passed 15 to 20 different pieces of legislation. But apparently none of the PD knew about it. I don't know, because a lot of them hated him. Apparently they thought he was dog shit.
Was he doing IA and shit?
Nope. No, not
He
that
was
I'm aware of.
he was the PD liaison between the council and the PD.
Yeah. Okay.
He passed about like 15 to 20 pieces of changes. Some that was pro civilian, some that was pro cop. He's quite rational. He's just not ready. The problem is his communication. I think. Well, anyways,
from what I heard, word on the street, the members of PD didn't feel like he was pushing their agenda as much as he should. But that's about all the information of that I've heard.
Next is Tilly. We've been sitting in here for 9.5 hours. My brain is cooked. Tilly, you want to go through the list?
How do you feel about Vivian? Mrs. Gray?
I'm not a fan.
Morning.
Yeah, so Vivian Gray, she's the one that kind of fucked over all my businesses a couple months ago.
Could you explain what happened in that case?
That was the case where I got shot up in my vehicle. I was GSR negative. They let the other people go after they saw Rami get held up by them. And they just arrested me, searched me for possession.
When's the last time you've, had a run-in with Vivian?
A few times here and there since, not that I can remember recently. Why, has she changed?
She's one of the few that has a brain. Period.
What do you mean by that?
Our interviews with cops have been really bad.
As in, they don't understand shit, or?
Oh, some of them want fast cars.
It's when I say there's slim pickings, you know how you kind of sat there and you're trying to think of somebody? That's been us for 4 weeks.
It's
and
hard.
then on top of that, I'm sorry?
It's
it's
hard,
hard, yeah.
Honest. You said they were asking for faster cars?
That was the first meeting we had, an hour into me walking into this office.
Listen, don't get me wrong. Maybe their cars can go an extra 5-10 miles per hour, right? But that's not the issue with them.
Well, that's kind of what we brought up. It was how are we entertaining better equipment when you don't even know RS and PC do not know how to de-escalate? Like,
okay, let me
the
actually
fuck are you
tell
gonna
about
do
a
catching
situation.
somebody if you can't bring it to trial? Like,
I'm
what
glad
the
you
fuck?
brought that up. Something just happened today. So, I mean, I could be honest here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's just say,
Look, for the sake of
just transparency, and then we can move forward.
sure.
Here. The boys were in a red Bentley, and they ended up
Allegedly.
Right? Yeah.
allegedly in a red Bentley, shot someone in Polito. I hopped in their car, allegedly, and we drove away. Cops ended up chasing them, lost them pretty quickly. Down near, Stab City area, Redwoods Lights track. They then parked that red Bentley after they had lost the cops at the parking lot near the clothing store on Route 68. It was parked about 20 yards away. It was pretty far. It was in the parking lot. They went over to the clothing store, completely changed their outfits. Cops bust in there, guns drawn. Everyone, you're detained right now. Don't move. Blah, 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 blah. They're all like, what are we detained for? I didn't commit a crime. I'm just here shopping at this clothing store. Their whole reason was, well, there's a red car in the parking lot that was seen at a shots fired call. We all asked, did you see us in the car? Did you see us get out of the car? Did you see us drive in the car? Did you see us get in the car? Did you see us even get near the car? All no's. It was simply the fact that, and I quote, well, we know how shit works when criminals do crime. What are they going to do?
God.
They're going to go to a clothing store.
Well, what you just said right there is the heart of the majority of my court cases.
Well, it was
is
these
we
two...
feel
exactly, and I was like, you're just
based on how
shit.
The world works.
I was
it's
like,
probably you.
First off, you're assuming shit. This is where Cassidy intervenes and says, exactly, that's what reasonable suspicion is.
No, reasonable suspicion requires articulation. That's why it's called reasonable articulable suspicion. You cannot articulate the reasons that a particular crime is transpiring with a particular set of individuals. It is no longer RS.
Yeah, and he's the fucking undersheriff. So the thing is, and that's what we told him, like, listen, no, you can't just assume like, oh, well, criminals go to clothing stores after, and this red car we were chasing 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago is in this parking lot. It's got to be you guys. We're gonna GSR all of them.
If they actually flagged that particular vehicle and you guys are near that vehicle, they have enough to, at minimum, detain you. They could possibly GSR test you, but the thing is, they need to be able to explain that. The problem is, like, even let's say hypothetically, without diving too deep into it, the problem is that if that went to court, right, it transpired into something. Let's say it snowballed, turned into you guys running. Let's say it turned into a shootout. If they can't even articulate exactly how they got there, there's an issue. We're also finding that officers are post facto, which means they're coming up with reasons after the fact why they did what they did. I'm going to give you a reference. There's a guy named, who's the guy that just got fired? Starts with an F. Whatever.
Forte.
Forte. I went to a court case. I went to a bench trial with him where he stated he arrested someone for being on the highway because he thought he's probably a pickup. It went to trial, and he on trial tells us that he made up a charge after they already detained and searched somebody. Unfortunately, the way that these cops are being trained is they actually think that's okay.
Yep. Whoever's doing training currently, those positions should be mixed up as well, I think. Not just chief.
I can tell you that the person that we have in mind has a very strong plan. It may not be transparently, they may be a bit of a Look, there's slim pickings, but there's literally one individual that even remotely has a head not so far up their ass.
You said
Everybody
her,
else
which is
has walked
Vivian
in
Gray.
here. Yeah, it's probably going to be her. I'm going to be straight with you.
Okay.
That said, to keep that to yourself, please do not tell your boys, because Rama's going to go tell the world. She's walked in here. She came in here with a plan. She's very open with accountability, while simultaneously allowing let's just say the dens of the world to exist, but be punished. To give you an idea, we expect the following. Anytime a officer transgresses, in other words, does something that violates rights, we're expecting a turnaround time of the same day and at most 48 hours. So, for example, let's say you get shiestied. I do not want to be waiting 2 weeks to find out what happens. That should happen that day. Public statement. The victim finds out that the PD did something, and that individual should not be fired. It should be inappropriate to what civilians face. So if Den goes and pulls a shiesty, go suspend him for a fucking day. Don't fucking wait 2 weeks to end up firing the guy. You need your Dens. You need your clocks.
It needs to happen within the time frame. It's not like, oh, you did this 2 weeks ago. Now we're gonna, like you said, similar to court cases. You want to keep the fucking city moving, man.
You want the city moving. You want victims that feel wrong to feel something. By the time 3 days goes by, no one gives a fuck.
Exactly.
And at the same time, you want your Den situations. You want your clocks in situations, because otherwise you're going to end up with a bunch of robots.
Yeah.
I think she very much understands that. All said and done, if this turns out bad, well, there's always ways to fix that.
Well, I mean, I trust you, so I trust your judgment on this.
I do appreciate that. People are going to be pissed, but as I've been telling others, suck my dick. We're here to piss a lot of people off, including when there's mass exodus to BCSO. And, at a certain point, if they're all in BCSO, good luck, because this is my fucking city. They can go make moonshine up there. Those are going to be our charges. Those are going to be our busts. And at the end of the day, my PD is going to get paid based on the crimes that occurred down here. So if they want to come down and give free voluntary assistance to make Los Santos kind of money, by all means. I don't know how much crime actually takes place up there.
Well, fuck Lynn County. That's how I feel about it up there.
Like I told you, they came down here. I'll tell you right now that we're being open. They came down here and asked for fucking speedy vehicles, highway patrol unit. And I'm like, okay, it's not going to be a cargo fast unit, but we're going to attach the calls.
If that's their first thing to jump into, oh my god, man, they just don't understand.
I wanted to lose my fucking
mind.
mind.
That's
what
did I tell you about Annie Jones? She's in her bubble. She doesn't know shit besides what she does, her fucking events. She doesn't know anything else.
And I don't want to turn it into like a fuck them sort of like thing, but here's the fact of the matter. I came into office saying I'm going to be transparent. Not anything that is said between me and the chief, me and you, me and Lang, me and everyone. Everyone's going to know what needs to be said, because that is the government I am running. There's no behind closed doors shit. If you want a meeting, you have it with me. I'm sick of this, like, we can't talk through things bullshit, because that's why there is a divide between the PD and the rest of the city. And that's changing.
Yep. Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Is there anything else you want to kind of discuss?
Not off the top of my head, but of course, if anything comes my way, I'll give you a call.
I appreciate it.
Before you go, I just have a question. How do you feel about Jimbo?
Oh, I like Jimbo. He's a bit of a crackhead, but good guy.
How would you feel about him in a high command position?
I think that'd be good.
She's a fan, by the way.
Oh,
And we actually think Jimbo would be an interesting.
I'm a fan.
We do like him.
okay. I'm a fan
We'll
of
see.
Jimbo too.
Yeah, he likes Jimbo too. You know.
No, that should be it.
Hmm.
We want Los Santos Police Department to have some time to develop itself.
Okay,
Because that's
well,
kind of under the purview of the city.
yeah, they kind of play a big factor in molding it. So okay, we'll be in touch then.
Thank you, Kate.
Appreciate the
Tell me,
time.
could you,
Thank
let
you,
him know?
Mr. K.
Thank
Call
you,
me
sir.
later.
Yeah.
See you.
Oh, here, I got you. All right, I'll see you around, Baldy. All right.
All right, I'll be in my underwear next time.
Okay, please do.